exciting to be back in the Shack for 2 home games. I know it's a big weekend with us on Wednesday, the men on Thursday, wrestling on Friday, women's basketball again on Saturday. So a big weekend for all of our Bison fans, and excited to be able to bookend that as we haven't had a whole lot of home games and certainly not many back-to-back home games to build off of our growth and our progress. So excited to be back here for two good games.
Watching her, listening to the play-by-play guys on Saturday with that Denver game, I mean, they were enamored by her. Just kind of your thoughts on her and what she's doing right now.
Taylor's a great shooter, a great player. She's a fierce competitor. I think her highlights have been well documented by all of you, and we all appreciate that. But the kid, she's a bulldog. She knows how to put the ball in the basket, and she wants those moments. And when we look back at the end of our Denver game, that was a pressure-filled situation. And then some kids can articulate that they like that, and some kids can articulate that makes them nervous. And then she's on the I'm great, coach. Yeah, put me in that situation. So I like that about her. I like that leadership about, that component. She's able to help Sarah and help RJ and help others kind of through that, because that's not a pressure-filled situation for her. But at the end of the day, she's a kid that likes to put the ball in the hoop, and I'm really happy she's on our team.
You mentioned it maybe there a little bit with how she's able to help some of these younger ladies, but what's the part we don't see about Taylor? What makes her a great teammate, a great leader? What don't we see out there that maybe you see that makes her kind of that extra special leader on this team?
Yeah. I think she's a what you see is what you get kid. She's very even keeled emotionally as we see, but that's how she is in the locker room as well. She'll speak up when something needs to be said, but she's not a rah-rah kid. She's not having a dance party in the locker room like some kids do, which helps some kids. But she needs to live her life very even keeled, and that's why she's a good player, and she understands that, and she's got a great story of why she plays that way. But I think, I don't have any secrets behind the scenes. What you see from Taylor is what you get. The kid, values her family incredibly, and her parents and her siblings come to most games. She goes home to see them compete when she can, when our schedule allows. You see a kid who's committed to to the classroom and to her academics, and you see a kid who wants to put the ball in the basket. She's a good kid to be around, and I'm glad she's on our team.
Starting to see some confidence, especially in your younger players, after what happened last week, playing well against the Jacks here and then on the road?
I think so. It takes a long time to build habits and to go in the right direction. And this group has been committed to that process since the day they showed up. As difficult and as hard as that SDSU loss was, I know we built confidence and also, put a little in our back pocket that we've been in this situation before at Denver. We've been in this situation before, and we can learn and we can handle it differently, and not make some of the same mental mistakes, and be able to have a very positive outcome at Denver. But that Denver game was most certainly a full team effort from all kids that played, did something very, very positive, whether it was a block, whether it was a made basket, whether it was a rebound. And so I think collectively we have a higher team confidence, meaning within ourselves, but also what our teammates can do. And that comes from practice time, game time, when you play so many freshmen. It takes time.
Over the last 8 or 9 games, your team's won the rebounding margin twice, and both of them turned into wins. Have you put extra emphasis on rebounding?
Yes and no. I mean, rebounding, most coaches will tell you you can't do a whole lot of rebounding drills. And it's a grit, it's a heart, it's a desire. You have a nose for the ball. It's not a whole lot of technique. So that being said, it's an emphasis because we know we need to get more possessions, offensive rebounds, and we need to limit others' possessions, defensive rebounding. So that's a focus point. But as far as specific drills or whatnot, that's kind of hard to do. So it's more of a conversation.
But in terms of, that grit aspect, with a very young team, what do you emphasize to get them to play with that heart?
I think the conversation is what can you do to positively impact this possession? And at the end of the day, you can always get a rebound. You might get beat on defense. You might miss your shot. You might screw something up from an execution perspective, but no one's going to stop you from getting a rebound if that's what you pursue. So the conversation of how can you impact this possession, get a rebound. And at the end of the day, we want more opportunities for us, get a rebound. We want to limit their opportunities, get a rebound.
The one possession game against SDSU, obviously the win against Denver. How do you keep it going?
We show a lot of positives and we talk a lot of positives. I talk with our kids a lot. For young females, the world can be difficult. And we get a lot of negativity influencing our lives. We are conscientious every day after practice. What went well today? Whether we write it down in a journal, whether we popcorn it out in our circle, what went well? How was this successful? What did you or one of your teammates do today that was a good thing? That was a win. And so we continue to talk about that. And we did it again right after the Denver game in the locker room. I didn't say anything. I just said, okay, this was great. I'm so excited for y'all. I'm so proud of y'all. But what went well today? And I mean, it was bam, boom, 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 boom. So it's the constant conversation of we are doing things in a very positive way. And we're building on our own momentum. We're building on our confidence. But we have to continue talking about it. It's not going to just happen. I started practice yesterday with, we had a good game at versus SDSU. We had a good practice after SDSU. We played well at Denver. We played, this just didn't just happen. You came in here with a mindset. What is that mindset? You made a choice. What was that choice? Let's replicate that and make that our habit. And the upperclassmen know, and they understand it. It's the underclassmen and the freshmen who are in situations for the very first time, traveling, finals, being away from home, holidays, all of that the inconsistency and the habits, go up and down. And that's what we gotta continue to have conversations to keep that at a more consistent level.
RJ Jacobson seems to be taking her game to another level this last couple of weeks. What traits does she possess where she's been able to kind of push herself and get in position where she had 20 points the other night against Denver as just a freshman?
Yeah. In a very polite way, RJ has no idea how good she is, and I think that's a good thing. She doesn't put pressure on herself. Her family doesn't put pressure on her. She wants to be in the gym. Her and Ryan Martin, her position coach, have their own language about how to get things done, why she did this, what she could do better next time. She soaks it all in. It was funny after the Denver game. Ryan and I were talking, and he said, "Yeah, I watched film when we got to the hotel with RJ. Everything that we talked about from that SDSU game, she made an adjustment, and she demonstrated it in the Denver game." So a lot of that is her own innate desire to be better and to be successful and to be a winner. That's who she is. And she's committed to putting in the work, physical work, as well as film work and conversation and mental work to do that. We as coaches are there to provide the platform for that learning to happen, but it's all coming from RJ and her competitiveness.
How important is the significance of playing the way you guys did against SDSU? That was probably the biggest crowd you guys have had this year for a women's game. How important was it just to have all those eyeballs and see the effort that your team had there?
I think it's important. It's a good thing. I guess I'm more proud of how we played as opposed to who was there to watch us. I'm a firm believer if we do things the right way, the wins will come, the people will acknowledge it. We're not out there seeking any of that. We're trying to get better each and every day for ourselves, and the outside accolades and the fans in the stands, they'll show up if they're supposed to show up.
From your team after that SDSU game, after this Denver game, have you seen they're standing a little bit taller, a spring in their step? Have you noticed a change? And what's that like to see, you talk about, you're going to reinforce these ideas and you're going to hammer it home and you're going to stick with it to see kind of the fruits of these labors?
It means a lot. They look at me and our staff and each other, and they're like, "Yeah, I know you're getting better, and I know you're getting better, and I know you're getting better because I can see it. But gosh darn it, I want a W at the end of the day." And so for them to come so close at versus SDSU, and for us to have the conversation, we were winning, and how many minutes were we ahead? And we had 3 opportunities to seal the game. And then to carry that over to Denver and to actually get the W is an outside validation of what internally we're doing and we're recognizing. But at the end of the day, we're working with 18 to 22-year-olds. They all want the external motivation. They all want the external highlight and the W, and I totally get that, and I want that for them as well. But it's the way we go about it that I'm so proud of, because it's so easy to hang your head. It's so easy to get discouraged. It's so easy to point your finger because of something that somebody else did, or I just didn't feel good today or whatnot. And our kids don't do that. And so because of who they are and the way we're going about it, it is good to get a W. And it is good to play well versus SDSU, which, from the outside and the inside, we know they're a very, very good team. Unfortunately, they've got some injuries. I'm not sure how they'll pan out this year, but a very, very solid team in our league. And we've got another extremely solid team coming in on Wednesday. But I know because of the SDSU game, the Denver game, the practices that we've had, the conversations that we've all had, they're standing a little bit taller. They've got a little bit more swag to them. They've got a little bit more confidence. That bodes very well going into this coming up weekend with USD and then Fort Wayne.
South Dakota, obviously that's a pretty good challenge coming in here again. They're undefeated in league play. They won 7 straight games. What are the keys, so to speak, to playing against a team like that? Obviously, coming out and playing well early, I know that was a big emphasis against the Jacks, and it worked out well.
We've come out, unlike Dave's team, knock on wood, we've come out very well in the first quarter, and that's something that, as we talk about, and Riley Dudell actually brought it out, that we set the tone for ourselves very early, and then the rest of the game is not easy, but it's easier than digging yourself out of a hole. But specifically USD, new coaching staff, no C camp, no other important parts from last year, so they've got new kids with new roles. And Coach P has done a very good job of getting them to play at an extremely fast pace, as well as everything's attacking the rim. Attack the rim, attack the rim. A lot of misdirection stuff to get you paying attention over here so somebody can attack the rim over there. And so our conversation yesterday and following this at practice is going to be being able to do 2 things at one time. Being able to navigate the screens that are happening over here while having an eyeball and seeing if we're containing the ball or if we need to provide our teammate help. That's not something we've never done before, but Allison Orange is playing extremely well. JC Bradley is shooting the basketball extremely well. They've got versatile post players who want to step out to 15 feet. So we've seen this, and our non-conference has prepared us for this, but it's the ability to defend the basketball while handling the misdirection or what's happening on the other side of the floor.